Horde.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
Is
Is this
this
thing
thing
on?
on?
Is this
Yeah,
thing
it's
on?
on. We're on.
Welcome,
We said we weren't going to do this, and we're doing it anyways. Uh,
welcome back to Operation Magic, episode
7. Wow.
7.
We're
And
rolling sevens.
man, and on this episode, we're diving into what I think is the heart of the Disney empire. We got intellectual property. We're talking IP tonight. I
Yeah.
mean, from like classics like Mickey, obviously The Lion King, mega franchises like Marvel and Star Wars. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney I think mastered the art of storytelling, but I mean, has the company, I don't know, leaned a little bit too hard on IP in the parks? Um, I mean,
I
is it the very thing, or is it the very thing that makes magic work? I mean, so we're gonna unpack this here, have a few debates, I think,
I got it.
and
I've
get
got one
into
off
it.
the top of my head because you missed something. Have they
Okay.
leaned too far out of the parks?
Yeah, yeah, Disney Plus,
Because
yeah, ESPN.
Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu, all the streaming services. Now Disney Plus alone, had they not acquired Hulu and made that all a thing, it would have been fine. And had they not tried to, they had to do certain things and with the exclusives. But I think there's certain things that they missed with Disney Plus ultimately.
Hmm.
And but even further, even as the last week and a half, I want to say, or within that time frame, they just acquired another IP through ESPN, and it's one of the biggest global IPs in the world of sports entertainment. And I remember it as just a tiny regional wrestling company in the 80s and 90s that went big and took on everybody, and that was the WWE. And oh yeah, Mickey Mouse. Mm-hmm.
And what, $1.6 billion acquisition?
Yeah, $1.6 billion. So WWE put Mickey in a headlock for 1.6 billion to do streaming rights, or is it the other way around? Because Disney, and like you said, you hit it. The last few years, they've leaned so far out of the parks to bring it into the parks. What becomes convoluted and what becomes truth in some sense when it comes to IP and what Disney really is and be should be becoming.
You see, and this is what, and I'm no scholar here. I don't claim to be smart with anything related to Disney. I just talk about my own experiences
Mhm.
and my own thoughts about stuff. The only thing that I think, I mean, I don't know if I'm talking about Walt here, and I'm wondering if he were to be alive right now, how he would feel about the originality of creating and then acquiring
Hmm.
and just shoving it in the park. You know, because you look
So
at rides like Pirates, right,
yeah,
where they take where movies go. We love that. We're gonna make a movie about it,
right,
right? Instead of the other way around, where
right,
we love a movie, we're gonna make a ride about it.
right,
And
right,
I
right,
think Walt leans on the side, if I were to guess, of original creation that
yep.
can branch out and be successful and become film and become franchised and be this whole big conglomerate of excitement. But I don't
Well,
know
all
how you
right.
feel if it was the other way around, bro.
So all right, I'll take it a step for you because if we're looking at the parks and we're looking at IP, the original IP for Disneyland were the lands because you think about Adventureland came through the True Life series of films that he created, the short documentary series of films. So that was its own kind of movie IP, but it was not taken directly from that. You know, it was taken from that basis.
Right.
So there's that originality, the creation like the Tiki Room. But that money had to come from somewhere. But now Disney's acquiring. Why? What makes it so? I think you're right on that sense that Walt would want to err on like the side of I'm going to do creativity. Yeah, it's going to take money. I might have to purchase a couple things because Pepsi gave Walt money to do an attraction. Coke has always been a fixture. So there's always been some sort of different outside IP within the Disney sphere, but to what degree? You know what I mean? Because I remember when I was a kid, there were rides. One was sponsored by Coke and the other one was sponsored by Pepsi, and so that you have to think on the global aspect of IP. That's always been there to some degree, but now we're taking it, like you said, and we're developing rides around it. We're
Yeah,
taking
and
attractions.
that's what's crazy, man. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Is like Coke sponsoring a ride seems okay to me. Disney
Okay.
buying WWE seems to be such a far extreme from the original idea of Disney.
Well,
To
I mean, all right. To be
I
fair,
don't know.
because with my Disney history knowledge and the basis of wrestling and it's a three-ring circus, Disneyland used to actually have a tinted circus on property when it first opened. So, oh, lost Josh. Is he there?
I'm
Wait,
here.
Josh. Okay, no
I'm here.
picture.
Yeah.
There we are. All right, there you are. Oh, now he lost me. Here we are. But I'm here too. But the fact is so if you want to go on the three-ring circus aspect, then yes, you've now entered the three-ring circus. These monkeys are not my monkeys, but they are now your monkeys because you did buy into it. And what part of the extreme? But now with sports entertainment being so global and the streaming war, I won't call it the streaming wars. We had the Coke wars in the '80s, the '70s and '80s, and we had the TV wars, and now we're having the streaming wars, and the bigger the better because HBO now just bought AEW wrestling, has rights to them. So it's like, where do you have to have some sort of piece of that pie? And with ESPN being a parent, a sister company, or Disney being their parent company, I should say, to ABC, ESPN, other conglomerates, that it's almost ironic in a way because of the crossover that's happening between the brands, and with
Right.
WWE now being on Netflix. So there is this globalism because can you see where I'm going with this? There's going to be a utopian cable system again. Not We have Roku TVs, but look at this. You have Netflix. Netflix has stuff that's leased out from Disney, from this, that, and the other. Now Disney and Netflix now own some rights to the same product.
I mean,
Now,
yeah, I
it's a weird dichotomy if you break it down that way.
it is, man. And if you use Lucasfilms as an example of like, if I'm a WWE fan,
Yeah,
I'm I'm looking at Star Wars since Disney's acquisition of them. I didn't care for any of that.
right.
Um,
So
I
you're
mean,
you're not talking Star Tours. You're just talking the overall acquisition. You're not talking the ideas.
I'm talking the movies that were created after
Okay.
Disney took over Lucasfilms,
Okay. All right.
right? And I'm just kind of using that as like my example. Like that's my concern is Disney has a vibe to it,
Right.
an image they have to maintain. They're not going to have the same violence, the same whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be toned down a lot. It's going to be a little bit different than it was before.
So
And I don't know. I didn't like the
as
films.
as I didn't like the films, and that's film though. So this is where
Right.
this is where you're buying a production company yourself, because WWE not alone is not just a wrestling company; they are a production company. They do everything from their own film, their own crews,
Right.
everything you see. So they're buying a whole nother entity like they did with ESPN, and I think what it's going to end up being is just streaming rights. I hope I don't see Mickey Ears in the crowd at a WWE event, because if I see, oh boy, here we go. If I hear Mickey saying "oh boy" in a match and dropping elbows, I'm gonna be
Kind
losing my mind.
kind of
We're
sick.
too gimmicky, right? But the fact is I I don't think it's going to be like we're worrying about. I don't think Disney's going to put their hand that far into something that is so entity, because we're just coming back out of what was the PG era, the John Cena era for 20 years, 25 years
Right.
of so, and you don't want to lose that momentum. Moving to ESPN, you only gain momentum because
True.
in some form, ESPN has always had some sort of like old school wrestling. I remember as a kid in the '90s, they used to have like AWA wrestling and you know the old Mid South, and they'd have stuff. I remember watching Captain Lou Albania in my grandparents' living room, and look at my grandpa going, "Hey, that's the guy who plays Mario on TV." And my grandpa goes, "What?" but I remember saying that. But so
Send me a Mario.
it's a me. I'm not. Yeah. So, but the fact is I don't see it being that thing. But you did hit on something earlier that I want to go back to, and it's we're going backwards in rides, the originality, because the WWE stuff, that's a big topic, that is huge. But I
Yeah,
don't
and I
think
don't
it.
like wrestling anymore. So like to me, the wrestling thing is kind of like the only thing I find interesting where we could stay on wrestling for just a second
Yeah.
is if we talk Universal and how that works because I don't know how Universal can have a house that's WWE branded
Okay.
and I know they share like obviously like they have different IPs that they that they share, correct?
So here's how that contract works. If I remember right, because it's a part of the deal. They NBC Universal still has streaming rights through the rest of this year. So for another 6 months or whatever, they have the rights. So whatever they had lined up this year. So at Hollywood Horror Nights, I know what you're getting at. They have the Wyatt Six House, and you can
Right.
it's all over Instagram. You can check out our Instagram, and it'll probably pop up in one of the random reels that are floating around our stuff. Because of stuff that we have content wise that we're related to and adjacent to. But I saw it today, and it's cool, and it's like a full like haunted house. It's rad. It's not
I
a
heard
bad
it's
setup.
really good. Yeah,
It
I heard
is,
it's really good.
but next year they won't be able to have that possibly due to what you said. But for a long time they did have the Marvel theme park, and I think they still have theme
Well, all the
rights.
Marvel stuff is still there, so I think they
Yeah,
paid Disney. I think they have to pay Disney every
I
year.
think what it is because of so Sony owns rights to certain Marvel characters, and Sony is owned by who? Universal. So with them owning that, they own those rights technically for however long. So I think they're still trying, but they're working deals right now to bring these characters into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which brings me to back to this: the whole idea of sharing content, but the IPs going backwards into the park instead of being creative. Like when Disneyland first opened, you had Autopia, you had that. But okay, this just popped in my mind. You being a Disney World guy,
Right.
do you feel that Disney World could have had a more original IP, or do you think the carbon copy of certain attractions was an appeal, and it was easier to do that than bring in new IP when WDW opened?
That's easy to answer for me because if you go back to one of our previous episodes and we're talking our favorite rides,
Right?
almost all of my favorite rides
Yeah.
are original
Yeah.
ideas.
Yeah.
And um and not for nothing, man. I think if you talk to Imagineer, the whole idea is to imagine, is to
Right.
create.
Yeah.
And you take
100%.
Haunted Mansion, the behind the scenes video on Disney Plus of them creating that ride is incredible
Oh yeah.
because you don't know what's happening. You don't know the direction you're going. You're just creating and hoping something sticks. And there's
Yeah.
something in that. There's a little magic in that that helps these rides tell a story. And when you take Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
I imagine the blueprint's extremely easy compared to making one yourself,
Oh,
where you're going,
posters have been
okay,
done a
yeah,
million times over.
yeah, we're gonna do it
And
backwards, and it's gonna spin, and it's gonna be lights and all that stuff. It's like, okay, like that's a great ride. Don't get me wrong, I love Guardians. I think it's a sick ride,
right,
um, but you know, it's it's just because we're hopping on the popularity train. You know what I
right,
mean? Okay,
right.
Guardians is popping off. Let's build a ride. It brought tons of people in just for that ride.
Yeah. Now,
But
don't get me wrong. The originality of Batu is beautiful. I love the rock work. I love what they did. But bringing a whole land around Star Wars, it seemed like you said a little much. The IP again, too much IP. Avatars. This again, originality. I'm a Disneyland guy. I love Mike and Sully to the rescue. One of the greatest Disney attractions, and it was a redo of a ride that I hated. It wasn't the original attraction that was there, but I loved what they did because they brought in an original set of characters from movies, like they had did with Peter Pan, like they did with Pinocchio, and they made it a fun ride. And now they're taking out for Avatar. And that makes me mad because Avatar's not an original IP. That's not an original Disney IP. That's a Cameron IP. Cameron created those characters. But it's also then the argument can be made to me, well, what about Star Tours? Lucas was in the parks well before anybody. Okay, I can understand that fight, Spielberg with Indiana Jones and Disneyland. And I understand that argument, but there's a place where they sit and they lie. If you look at Indiana Jones, the ride at our park, right? It sits in Adventureland. It doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't. You put, you take stuff like that, Indiana Jones, or you put, where they put Star Tours when they first brought Lucas in to Disneyland. You don't know it's a Star Wars ride, but it feels like it should be there because it's Tomorrowland. It makes sense. For you guys at Hollywood Studios, it makes sense because you have the big AT walker out there. It makes all the sense in the world to have it in Hollywood Studios. If it makes sense, then do it. But I don't see Avatar making sense in the Hollywood backlot or Hollywood, studios area of our parks. It doesn't make sense to me. You had an original piece that it's a piece of Hollywood magic, the Pixar IP, and that's a little mishmash of you have Turtle Talk with Crush over there. So yeah, it kind of fits right there. And then you go into Avengers Campus, and there's another big blown up IP from another big entity that was around well before Disney.
Yeah, and like for Animal Kingdom, for us, we're getting Indiana Jones in where the dinosaur ride and the ever dying, those that section of attractions in Animal Kingdom was like dead. I mean, it was like a cheap looking fairground kind of thing, right? And Dinosaur is a Disney original, and it sucks because I know people hate Dinosaur the ride, man, and to me it's like a nostalgia thing, and that's one of the bummers. And I think they could have done. My simple brain just struggles thinking like, why Indiana Jones and not one of your massive original movies to go off of? Like, why doesn't Lion King get a giant piece of Animal Kingdom? It's the number one animal movie Disney's ever made, in my opinion. The best thing they could do, and just from my opinion, is make a Lion King big ass attraction, an original attraction, original.
I think that, and here's the argument people will make: Lion King is not as remembered as Indiana Jones, right? And I argue that. I don't argue that. I'm not going to argue.
I don't argue that.
But I get your argument because it would be awesome to come around the corner and see a huge fucking Pride Rock.
And who's the magic primarily for? It's for our families. It's for us. It's for children, right? It's for everybody.
Right.
But the majority of the park goers that are kids don't care about Indiana Jones.
No.
And they've all seen Lion King. They should.
Yeah. No. Every little kid, I think that's a parent's staple at this point. Because if you're between the ages of 30 to 40 at this point,
and if you're taking your kids to Disney World, right? And like I'm taking my daughter, she's going on her third trip. She's just turned 2.
Yeah.
You're watching the Disney originals. You're watching the classics.
Yeah.
And yeah, how cool would it be to see a gigantic Pride Rock when you turn the corner?
That's how so this is what I love, and this is when I was a cast member when they were getting ready to do the whole redo of California Adventure. And I got to see previews of all of what Cars Land was going to look like and what all of Buena Vista Street was going to look like. I got to try the dill flavored flavored popcorn and pretzel bites. They had, what else they had? They had Flo's root beer, which is still the best root beer in the park. It's just regular root beer, but it was like the best root beer I'd ever had. But I got to try all this stuff. But going around the corner now and seeing what they did to turn that part of the park, which I was upset because it was beautiful because it was a part of Bugs Land. That is all Bugs Land was great. It was a wonderful, but they turned it into Radiator Springs. And to come around that corner and you see right down the main drag of Radiator Springs, and you're there at sunset to see Shaboom and eating your carne cone, and Flo's lights up, and then you go ride Radiator Springs Racers, and you go through, Cadillac, Cadillac Valley and all that. And it's just like Ornament Valley. So you go through Ornament Valley, and it's like, man, that's beautiful. But so I can envision Pride Rock that way. But here is my argument to that. When you go around to Pride Rock, how are you going to have it be a Sahara feeling thing? Because it has to feel like the desert. Not all of it is jungle.
No, but it's also Disney, and
Right,
that gives those Imagineers a chance to figure it out.
right.
And you got Cars. We're getting Cars now too, which is a whole nother debate. But you got Cars, which is a movie that can be appreciated by any age demographic.
Oh, I love that land.
I'm
That
getting
land is so
Indiana
great.
Jones, which is not appreciated by everybody. And
That
and I,
so
I I get it, man, but I wish I know there could have been something else
no,
that
there's
could have
so
went
many
there.
like there's some good like you could have done another Tarzan type of thing because Tarzan's an underappreciated movie that has to do with the jungle. Um, I don't know if you guys have the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, but
Yes.
okay. So I was gonna say if you didn't have that, you could have done the Swiss Treehouse. You've got some throwbacks. You could do some of the old Disney like live action style theming like they did with the Robinson Treehouse. So there are those ways you can do it, but with the
I think
IP
we're getting Coco
available,
too. I think we're getting Coco, to be fair.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure,
Okay.
along with Indiana Jones in that Dinoland USA area. But
Okay. Coco's gonna be fun, and Coco's great.
yeah,
But Indiana Jones. So here's the appeal to Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones has been a part of both parks for as long as I can remember. You know, and that appeal is still there. If you go to the Indiana Jones stage show, it's probably still pretty full every showing because it's one of those things that draws people in and it's amazing.
my
Uh,
daughter is flipping over in her crib, so she's making some noise. My bad.
okay, good.
Now
No,
she's
but
making an
you might
appearance.
you might hear my dogs kicking their collar, so it's fine. Hey, that's but like we said, if you go to our Instagram, Operation Magic Pod on Instagram, at us, like us, follow us, subscribe, do what you got to do.
Yeah, you gotta follow us so I can afford this light bill. So I
Yeah,
can so I
right,
can afford the air in this house.
right. No, no, but if you like follow, but you can like you go there and you'll see content that we've posted and like we talk about stuff like this all the time, just the different IP and the different things that creep up. And if you add us and like us, you'll see exactly what we're talking about with this stuff because we'll be there. It's like it's crazy to know how much change happens. And Indiana Jones, you'll watch videos. You can go to any YouTube, and those places are full. The IP is still real and it's tangible, and people love it. Yeah, our attraction breaks down quite a bit, but the
And
fact
I think
is
that goes too, man. Like I don't like Indiana Jones.
okay,
Is that
fair.
crazy? I
All
mean,
right,
call me crazy. I just never. I've seen all the movies.
all right,
Every time it comes out, I go and watch it.
all right.
Um, I just, I just never, I just never liked it. And an odd reason that just comes to my mind is I used to play Tomb Raider, so
Fair.
I think of Laura Croft as that person in my head and not Indiana Jones.
Okay, so this is the difference in age between Josh and I because I've got 5 years on him on age. Yes, I'm older.
And a cane in the background. Yeah, like
I
a
I'm
walking dead.
I do I actually no I don't. Um, no, but this is the difference of how much of a 5 years makes. For me, I caught the tail end of Indiana Jones. My
Right.
favorite of those movies is Temple of Doom. It's gotta be my favorite. But for you, because I was at that point when Laura Croft came out, those games were very popular, and I was like in middle school when those games came out. So it's like being in middle school, and yeah, I played them, but I was already past that point of like, oh yeah, these are fun games. I like them, but that character to me was already solidified. So and
Mm.
then the kids that came after you were more Lord of the Rings kids, those adventure, you know what I mean? So
I
I,
love
I
Lord of
like
the Rings.
I,
I
I I
love it.
think they're great movies, but those kids were a lot more, you know, you know where I'm going with that. It's
Yeah.
like the Harry Potter kids as well. Same thing. Totally different adventure characters, that they could relate to. I related differently as you did Laura Croft, so I can understand the argument as well. I don't like Indiana Jones, and that's kind of how I feel about certain IPs that can come into the park. Like I wasn't keen on bringing Batu into Disney. I wasn't.
No.
No, I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but after the atrocity of what the movies were, I didn't feel it was right. There could have been something else that could have been there, like a villain's land could have fit there. You know,
Yeah,
something.
that's what we're
I
getting now. Magic Kingdom's
yeah,
Villains Land.
I'm throwing stuff out there
Cars.
that you know they could be taken care of in an easy manner, but the fact is at the end of the day they chose that. And again, I love what they did, and I love what it is, and I love how it all turns out. I don't get me wrong. The attractions are good when they're up and running, uh, but I think we could have done something more. I think we could have had something different than a Lucas IP because we already had Lucas IP in the park. You know,
Yeah.
and I get it, catering to the new fan, and Walt Disney did say the parks will always be changing.
Yeah, and that's okay with me, and I find it more okay. And I'm gonna say something that's just my personal opinion.
No, go ahead.
If they would have, because Splash Mountain also was not Disney original IP, but if they would have destroyed it and did something original in its place, I think I would have liked it more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's okay.
So
So you're talking Tiana's.
I'm talking Tiana's,
Yep.
just to strip it and make it the same ride but a different theming. Like I think I would. I just I'm not creative. I'm not a
Right.
creative person. So I find creativity fascinating to me. So I'm
Right.
always gonna lean more towards appreciating how difficult that process is
Okay.
than it is to just do something easy like that. Um, I would rather like. I mean, you look at Haunted Mansion, dude. I mean, like there's these rides that are original tell a story throughout the whole ride.
Yeah.
And I think the
Yep.
best way I can explain it is the ones that are bought IP, they don't. They don't.
Well,
Not to me.
no, no, they don't. They really don't. I Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones ride does tell a story because it's Indiana Jones ride. 'Cause you have to tell a story. It's if you don't tell that story, then you're
Of
screwing up
course.
on that.
Right.
But when you go to say Rise of the Resistance, that's not. I don't feel that. That story doesn't resonate.
So ours in Disney World
I
is
love it.
1000% immersive.
Oh yeah, so's ours.
You feel like you're in the movie.
Yeah, no, I'm
But
not
I think
disregarding that.
because you know already what the movie, like there's no originality to
Yeah, yeah.
seeing 100 stormtroopers. Okay, those are stormtroopers like I see in all the films.
When I first
There's
saw it, it was amazing.
yeah, and that's cool, but that's not just it's just not original. I'm just
So
stuck on the original part, man. I
no,
love
no.
originality.
Here's my argument to this, and you'll understand this because if you know, well, I'm wearing, second star right straight onto morning. I would rather stand the quote unquote 45-minute Peter Pan line, which is always 90 minutes long. I would rather stand that than go stand an hour and a half to 2 hours for Rise, because yeah, that ride is only 2 minutes long, and I know the story because it's my favorite movie.
It's
But
great.
but as soon as I get in that ride and I get in the mini flying, Jolly Roger, and I hear, "Here we go!" And I'm like, I'm transported right into to 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 the bedroom. I'm flying out with John, Michael, and Wendy and Peter over London. I'm looking for the hidden Mickey in the Tower of London. I'm look and Big Ben. I'm looking for all of these different things that I know to be in that ride. I love that ride so much. I don't mind standing if I have to for that because of what it is.
So, is there anything out there that you wish Disney would acquire?
Me, ooh, see that's hard because I don't think so. I love that I have Spider-Man in the Disney realm because my sons and I both all love Spider-Man. That's great. I love
Yeah.
Spider-Man and the Marvel stuff, but no, because
Okay,
I
so you
could have,
guys love Spider-Man, right?
yeah,
Are you tired of it yet?
a little. Oh yeah, my 7-year-old is
The amount
so
of movies is
I,
insane.
I'm so happy that we're getting these stories because as a kid, as a comic book reader, I'm loving it because I read comic books as a kid. But as someone who now is a 40-year-old adult and these characters I love, I'm getting burnt out really quick because I did have the Tobey Maguire movies and then we had the Andrew Garfield. And I love Tom Holland. Tom Holland's a wonderful Spider-Man. However,
But who's the best?
Tobey Maguire,
Tobey Maguire, 100%.
Tobey Maguire. But to my son, it will be Tom Holland, and Tom
Of
Holland
course.
it plays a good
He
quintessential
was
Peter.
an amazing. He's one of the only. Garfield gave me problems. I couldn't even watch the movie. I have a
I've had
big
a tough time.
issue with changing actors for characters like that. And it all started with Smallville. I don't know if you ever watched Smallville
Yes, I
back
did.
in the day,
Yep.
but that actor that played Superman, I guess the age that I watched it was probably 19 or 20.
Yeah.
That point on, I could not look at anybody else as Superman. It would
Yeah.
annoy me. And I struggle with changing actors, man. And when you have a 20-year franchise, it's
Right.
impossible to keep the same person, obviously. But that's why I appreciated seeing Wesley Snipes come back as
Oh,
Blade
that
for
scene in Blade
what
and
was that?
Deadpool,
Deadpool. Yeah, that was
Deadpool and
great.
Wolverine. I for that movie. So for an IP movie, and I'll give that movie
Great.
its praise because Ryan Reynolds of all the people he did that movie the way it should be done. And he didn't let Disneyfy it because I
He
got
flamed Disney in the intro.
oh god
It was
he
great. In the
oh
beginning, he was
I
talking
loved
shit about Disney.
I
It was
loved I loved the cocaine jokes. Those were so great. Some Snow White? No, can't do that. We can't even say that.
it was great too.
Dude, that and Blind Owl is a great character. And then talking about talking about pegging. Oh my god, I'm just like okay.
But when
But
when Wesley Snipes walked in, because I didn't see it. I saw it opening weekend, but like on Sunday.
yeah,
So I avoided. I mean, I saw all kinds of spoilers. I just tried to stay away.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I had no clue, and I grew up a huge Blade fan. I mean,
yeah. Me
massive. And
being
when
a
he
Gambit
walked,
fan, I yeah,
dude, when he walked up, I was like, oh, this is awesome. But again, there's a guy that shows his age, man.
yep.
He didn't have a huge part in that movie, but
It
back to
worked.
Spider-Man. I can't stand when they change actors, bro. But you gotta do what you gotta
I love that line. But going back to the Blade, I thought you hated me.
do.
Making reference to Blade Trinity.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch those now.
Oh, those are good movies. Those are some fun. And that's the funny thing. People don't realize that MCU actually started with Blade. Blade is the original Marvel character in the MCU.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I had to think about that.
yeah,
OG.
yeah. And it's so it only felt right. And then to have Gambit. That whole movie did the IP justice because guess what?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds told him you can either take it or leave it. Oh, I don't care. I'll shelve it.
If he didn't do it the way he did, it would have been such a bad look for Disney also. So that shows that Disney will I mean, they know what they're getting into. So I guess it goes back to like WWE thing. There are sections where they're like, okay, you have
Hmm.
Deadpool has his character is what it is.
It has the space,
He's gonna be vulgar. He's gonna be nasty. He's gonna be disgusting. He's
and
gonna say crazy shit.
I loved what they did with him in the wintertime at the parks when they brought him to Disneyland. I don't know if you guys got him at Disney World, but if you go back and watch those videos on YouTube, he was telling stories and he had the way the actors had to do it. They navigated, but they kept the humor about it. He came out riding a unicorn, and how Wade Wilson is that? I mean, it's amazing. But it's one of those things that like so this is mind blowing to me. Disney actually had the rights to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for years. In Florida, they were at Hollywood Studios. They came out in the Turtle Van with April, and so IP comes and IP goes. But we're in an age where I think IP's here to stay, no matter the level of it, if that makes sense.
Right.
And it's really tough because you now have, I have a book right here. Speaking of original IP, I'm going to get it off my shelf. You get stuff like this, a golden book. Remember the golden books growing up, the Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
But on the back of it, it's up next to other things like we'd see back in the day. So IP still doing this, but when are we going to start seeing like WWE golden books? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope never.
You see, the example I'm going with there.
I do, yeah.
And it's not to say that like golden books don't need to have that sort of space, but it's like I grew up with golden books not having the books on them, but the characters on the back of them and the little blurb on the back, the originals. And I don't want to see my wrestling characters mixing with my Disney characters, or Tootsie, or or Tootie, or whatever whatever the character might be, or Mittens the cat.
That would
see.
Yeah. That would kill me. Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So for me, it's like having those things. It's cool, but there's a space for it. You have to think about it. It's like there is a space. There's an IP in the parks. I think they have to tone it down, and I think it has to. I think, honestly, and correct me if I'm wrong, or if you think I'm off base on this take, but I don't think you will. I think it's going to take not cast members. That'd be a huge revolt. I think it'll take guests actually speaking up and speaking out, being like, "Look, when is too much too much?" Yeah, we have all the voices in the world on our blogs and our vlogs and our podcasts and everything else we do, but we do not speak up enough about this stuff loudly because they keep doing it. If they care about us,
we keep paying for it.
We do. We keep paying for it. So I had this conversation with somebody about sports cards the other day, and PSA and Beckett and the grading companies, and how the boom of the new card stuff has come up, and how PSA is propped up by the people who rip big packs for cards and value. When I grew up buying cards, it wasn't about value. There was no value in cards. It was overproduced.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
For fun.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And the point is like now we're propping these card companies up so they can keep. Oh, we're going to put out Shohei Ohtani's next autograph or this, that, and the other, and you want to chase it. Okay, that's fine, chase it. But we're doing the same with Disney too, and I admit I do it. I'm a sucker for Disney. But no, you're good. But the issue is it's going to stop us. What's going to end up happening is we have to stop going on these attractions. We have to stop. Look, all right, great example, perfect example. Price gouging and overpricing for the stay and IP killing. Star Wars, the Star Wars Hotel.
Oh, there was talk, that lasted fucking a year.
Yeah, there was talk. If that had done well, we were going to get one on the West Coast, and that failed so miserably that any plans for any future Star Wars anything is on hold.
Yeah, they got priced out big time.
Yeah,
I mean that shit was expensive.
$5,000 for 2 days. $5,000 for 2 days.
You'd have to be. Your level of dedication to Star Wars have to be like unmatched.
And you know what? I have friends who have that level of dedication, and there are people that I follow on YouTube that have that level of dedication. I don't.
I don't. I thought when I first saw it come out, I was like, "That's cool. That'd be a place I could stay." And I was thinking to myself, "They're gonna charge $400 or $500 a night.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's gonna be kind of expensive. It's gonna be deluxe resort price with a little bit of a premium because you're like immersed in the resort, right?
Yeah, right.
And then when it came out, I was like,
and then you get that day,
ridiculous.
A day or 2 days, depending on how many days you stay. That's how many days. Like 2 days, you get a day in about 2. 3 days, you get 2 days. And
don't care.
What? So you're telling me I have to spend another? So if I go down there, if I'm ever going to do this with my family, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to go 10 days, 10 to 12 days to go down there, do it right, do the whole thing right. So I can take a couple pool days, go to the golf course, tear it up, do what I got to do. So you're telling me I'm going to add another 2 days at that point to my trip, and another $10,000 potentially. No, because I have a large family.
There's 6 true, yeah, true, yeah.
So another $10,000 on my trip at that point to go do this. Yeah, you can take that and blow smoke up your ass.
You're gonna make James sell his body just to go to Disney World.
Not happening. Not happening. I'm not getting those care packages that Josh used to get
you're gonna be working your way across America just to attend the Star Wars.
I'm gonna be busking across America, selling my body like Mickey Avalon. That'd be
So
bad.
so you would agree then that the balance is skewed right
Yeah,
now?
very much. Oh yes.
Because I mean, even now I think like I attribute the new IP, the new rides as tablets for kids,
Oh yeah. Yep.
where it's an addictive, impulsive thing,
Yeah.
while the parents are like, "Oh, but what about Peter Pan? What about
Yep.
Haunted Mansion?" They're like, "Oh, it's boring. Everything's moving. There's no screen. It's an actual
Yeah.
animatronic.
You know what?
That's lame."
My kids love. So my boys both loved um, the Star Wars attractions. Don't get me wrong, but they enjoyed the actual other rides more.
I call them
Like
real rides.
yeah.
That's what
Well,
I call them.
my son, my older son, we rode. So I think I told the story on another episode. But we rode Splash Mountain when we were there in 22, 16 times after everybody went back. I commandeered my mom's little scooter because she hurt herself in the park trying to get a scooter. My daughter had a scooter because she had broke her ankle like 2 months prior. My wife, had so I had the scooter brigade. And me and the boys were walking, and so I was like leading this brigade. And if I needed to go through crowds, I sent them through crowds. So I commandeered a scooter, and me and Grayson took the scooter, and we went and parked it, and we got in the single rider. And like, yeah, there's no one here. You guys single ride that. We don't care. And we got on and we rode it 16 times. We came back up. They're like, "You want to ride again?" I'm like, "Yep, let's go again." Come back up. So we got, and we came off. We're like sopping wet, just like, "Oh my god,
That's awesome, bro.
we're so wet." And then we went and rode Winnie the Pooh. It was the greatest thing ever.
See,
But
in my, like when I took trips with my wife, right, we go to Disney World and Universal, and I always thought in my brain, this is the way I make sense of it. I go to Universal to ride movie rides.
yeah,
I go to Universal to ride the things like every ride in Universal is attributed to film.
Mhm.
Okay, that's their thing. And when
Speaking of,
Disney,
hold on,
yeah,
because they're thinking about bringing back an attraction because one of those film movie rides is doing very not so well. You know what ride that is?
hang on, let me think. So you're saying there's a current ride at Universal that's not doing well?
Yes,
It's a ride,
it's a ride.
like a roller coaster.
No, not a roller coaster. It's one of it. I would call it an original from like the 80s and 90s.
That's still there.
That's no. It's no. It's not there. So
It's
it
not there.
replaced that ride from the 80s. So it was a movie from the 80s and 90s, and it replaced it. And that replacement's not doing so hot, from the rumor I heard.
For us, I don't know what that could be because everything that's been replaced, to my knowledge, they just tore down
There's one
the
show building.
the
One show
Rocket
building.
roller coaster. They have Jimmy Fallon there.
It's one
That's
show building, and I know the line in my head keeps ringing because I saw the commercial for it today, and it's a Nike commercial that plays it. That should be a good enough hint.
Nike commercial that plays in
And
the.
it's no. Well, Nike's a sponsor actually in the movie. There's a current Nike commercial that the opening line is one of the most famous lines from this movie.
Oh, you know what I'm stuck on?
What?
My brain. This is how my brain works. I thought of Jimmy Fallon, and then I thought of how badly I missed that Twister ride.
Okay.
This the walkthrough, and they do the whole
Yeah.
Twister thing with you, man. That's the kind of shit I love. I can't think of it. What do you got?
Our listeners are probably on tracking with me. When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you want to see some serious shit.
What replaced back? Oh, Simpsons.
Simpsons from
Are
rumor
they not
has
doing
it.
good? Oh, wow.
Well,
I hated that ride.
But see, again, a lot of people liked it when it first came out. But it's the one thing about The Simpsons is it gets really redundant really fast. Like you think about an episode of The Simpsons, which
1,000%.
Disney now. Oh, but that's another thing. Disney now owns The Simpsons, so rights could also be running out.
Yeah, and that's a ride. That's a land, if you want to call it a
Yeah.
land, that I pass through. I ride Men in Black. I do the little laser gun with my wife. We cut straight through. I might grab a Duff beer cutting through, but I don't even like the beer because Universal, if anything, the opposite of Disney when it comes to drinks. I mean, there's an Irish pub right in the middle of Universal Studios that has been there forever. I can't remember the name of it. I could look it up, but I don't feel like it right now. But it's veteran owned,
Yeah.
and you know what? Because it's veteran owned, I'm gonna look it up.
So the one
Go
thing,
ahead.
the one thing with, I think it's the IP, and I stand corrected. It isn't dry. I didn't mean to say dry. I mean it's a really wet park. I mean wet park.
Finnegan's.
Um, huh?
Finnegan's.
Finnegan's. Yes, I've heard of Finnegan's.
Veteran
So,
owned. Awesome place.
but yeah, Universal, and that's also one of those like parks, like you said, you want to ride the movies, and you have to think about Back to the Future was universally a beloved ride. When that ride got taken out, people were
Awesome.
pissed.
That's fucking
People were
awesome.
pissed. I haven't been back to Universal since actually.
Really?
Yeah, because I want to go for Super Mario World, but I know my heart's going to sink because I'm not going to be able to ride Back to the Future. That ride was, there's something about it. So if they can bring that ride back, that'd be awesome. That's a little rumor that I heard. I don't know how true it is, but if
I
that's
can
the
see it,
case,
bro. I mean, Simpsons sucks. I mean, if they brought that back, that'd be sick. I mean,
it would be hard to
think
change that show building back.
thankful. No, it's the same. It's like the same building. So all I did was they put you
Retheme.
in separate cubicles where you used to sit with everybody else
Hmm.
in one big room, right?
Yeah.
And for me, man, while we're on Universal for just a minute, the Velocicoaster in Orlando is, I've heard a lot of shit. That is the best roller coaster I have ever been on. That is
Okay.
fucking amazing, bro. It is completely upside down and twists and turns, and it's got that magnetic launch system. But you do your launch and shit, but then you go through a tunnel and you're already going 45 miles an hour, and you hit these fucking mag strips and you're just gone.
Oh
And
man.
it's a lap bar. It's a fucking lap bar. Now it's a beefy. It goes from like your belly button to your
Yeah.
thigh. You know what I mean?
But you're in
But
there.
my big ass, bro. For one, my big boys out there, and my big ladies know what I'm talking
You
about.
big
We on the
bags.
we on the last click, brother. We on that. Well, I was saying the first click. Okay, you're good. I'm on the last of what is deemed safe. I'm on that last. I'm on that
You're
last
like
click,
you're like bro.
and
My
when
my
it
big
goes
bag
upside
ass.
down over the water, it does a twist over the water, and you're upside down for probably a couple seconds, and you're floating. I mean, you're floating, bro.
Dang.
It's fucking crazy.
The last roller coaster I rode besides California Screamin', which I will call it California Screamin'. It's an Incredicoaster, guys, but for me it's always gonna be California Screamin'. Slayer. Ugh.
Slayer.
Yeah. So but for that it's like that right that's simple, but it's like the last one I really rode was Silver Bullet at Knott's, and they were doing a lot of metal work, so all that metal dust was in there, so it just
That's
made me
scary.
freaking sick.
That's scary.
That yeah, it was like oh, bleh. Like you walk by
Yeah.
that. Just, bleh.
I told you the story when we watched this show originally that about my Mummy Returns ride at
Yeah,
Universal,
you
man.
did. Yeah.
Lap bar snap in action, man. But
Yeah,
that's one thing at Disney, bro.
you don't have to worry.
That it is. That's probably one of the safest places in the world
A-
you can go to.
As a cast member, and so there's some stories I have heard, but I know stories that they did find a kid one time. He did leave property, but have never lost a kid. They did find him. He was over at the Anaheim Convention Center. He left park property and made his way
Bro had a
across.
meeting.
Yeah, bro
Bro
had
had
a
a meeting,
meeting.
bro.
He had a meeting with a bunch of cheerleaders, probably. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old. Hey, there's some cheerleaders over there, Brett. I gotta go over there.
He said,
But
"You know
no,
what? I see they're changing too much about this park. I'm gonna go talk to the man.
I'm gonna go try. I got a meeting,
I gotta go
but they
talk to the
found
man."
him. So,
Yeah.
but Disney is really good about finding people. My second day there, maybe I think my first or second day, we had a kid get lost, and it was a family who was from Saudi Arabia area. I don't know what Eastern country they were from, but they were definitely from the Middle East, and they were scared. And we're like, ma'am, security like within we had them within probably 5-10 minutes at most,
That's what's
and
up.
we found them down over by Pooh's Corner, the little candy shop between Winnie the Pooh and Splash, and that's where we had found him. And it was like he just got lost up in the crowd and got scared, but he found a security guard right away, like a cast member. They saw him wandering and looked lost, and hey, we found him. It wasn't a big deal.
And to get back to the get back to the IP thing real quick.
Yeah, we
The
got. Yeah, we got.
the the thing with me, and I think this is probably good. We're at 50 minutes too. Look at us. We might actually
Why am I keeping it an
be
hour?
we might be coming in an hour here.
Well, we got a game still.
I want to know where our viewers' heads are at as far as like the creativity versus the creativity versus bought IP and like acquired rides and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
the debate, because I hear a lot about our age demographic getting pretty sad with the originality kind of dying off a little bit. And I think Disney will always, it's just like the military sometimes, man, where you flood with new people, you hire, recruit, and then you cut back, cut back, cut back, cut back.
Yeah.
And it's like that ebb and flow all the time of like, okay, maybe we're getting a little far. Let's throw them a new creative ride. Okay, they're happy. Great.
The
Now we'll go
last
buy
so
5 more things.
the last creative ride, and it was, to me, it wasn't really. It was innovative and it was great and it was imaginative, but it wasn't like the old throwback rides, and that was Runaway Railway. And it's a great ride. Don't get me wrong. I love Runaway Railway. It's a fun ride. It's great. But look at the technology and look at the simple. Yeah, go to, again. I'm going to throw this. Go to our Instagram. I don't know if it's still up yet. I don't know if you posted it on our actual page, but in our story recently, we did have how it's like to be in line together at Mickey's Runaway Railway, and I'm like, yeah, that's how Josh and I would be if we were over on the ride. But I see myself right. Nothing can stop us now. Just dancing.
Facts, bro. Uh,
It's ridiculous. But that ride was innovative, but was it imaginative? Was it out of the box like they had to be with the Bob Gurrs and the you know the Mark Davises and and the people of the Claude Coates, all those people, Marty Sklar, I can name them. I can keep going. But what even Bob Weiss, Joe Rohde, Tony Baxter, were are those? Is that imaginative like those guys, or is it just having to conform to what technology has given us to be imaginative today? I know it's a layered question, but it's a thoughtful one.
I don't know. I don't know. I All I know is I think being a young Imagineer, if I was one,
Right.
I don't think I think those guys have to feel in some way, shape, or form. I would love to sit down with a guy who's been there for a minute, maybe even retired,
Yeah.
versus a kid who's 5 years in,
Yeah. I'd pick
and
their brains
and
together. Yeah.
see and pick their brains together, because I would imagine that there has to have been a decrease in imagination.
Yeah, because technology has made it easy. But I think so. Here is the most imaginative thing that I've seen recently, and you're going to freak out about this because it's happening. I think overseas right now, and they're bringing it. I don't know if it's at Florida yet, and I know they're bringing it to California if they already haven't. But the drone technology, nighttime
Oh, it's
spectaculars.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's Epcot.
it's
Amazing.
amazing from every video I've seen, everything that they're
See,
doing. I
that's
mean,
cool. I'm down with that.
yeah,
You know,
that's like because that takes a lot of coordination.
I'm down
That
with
takes
that.
a lot of that takes a lot. That's a whole different skill set that you have to understand. You have to understand aviation. You have to understand techniques. You have to understand electronic. You have to understand everything that goes into making that nighttime spectacular. And you could probably have them all remote controlled by one, but that's a lot of work, dude. It's crazy.
And that's like how the old school guys had to create those animatronics, man.
Hmm.
It's probably the same level of difficulty where it's all new. It's all like they're hand building stuff, and now we're just using technology to our
Yeah.
benefit, as we should. I mean, I don't think we should steer away from technology too much. I'm just use the technology to be original, I guess, is a
No,
good way
you
to
have to.
think about it. And I think Disney will do what Disney does at the end of the day, and they will continue creating and being the leaders in innovation. But they are straying, in my opinion,
Yeah.
a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
big
too
time.
far. And I get it. They're making money, bro.
Well, all right. This
They're
is
making money.
before we get out of here, and this is something to think about. And you can guys answer this in the comments below. Again, hashtag veteran. Always get your comments read. We're getting to that point, guys, where you're going to start trickling in, and the comments going to be a fierce fight here come soon. But do you think that the IP idea is okay in Disney Springs and downtown Disney because it's a whole conglomerate of outside entities?
Do I think it's okay? Say that again.
So, do you think what is happening with IP driven like restaurants, for example, big chain restaurants like Dim Tai Fung in California? I don't know if you guys have Dim Tai Fung, but you brought up Rainforest Cafe the other day. Uh, Stuff like that. Do you think that
I
IP is okay in a place like Disney Springs, but not inside,
I
say, the park?
I do. I
Okay.
do because Disney Springs is free to enter.
Okay. All right.
So Disney Springs, you can go whenever you want,
It's like a mall.
and it's just like an outdoor shopping center with restaurants, and there's enough creativity to remind you that you're still on a Disney property.
Okay.
And for Disney World especially, them leaving all that shit outside of Epcot
Yep.
is what really makes me okay with Springs being mainstream.
And same with me with Disneyland because yeah, you can find some of your name brand beers inside, like Levi Strauss beer, Budweiser here or there, Hazy IP, whatever you want, right? You can find those, but outside regular everyday food, big name food stuff, I'm okay with that because they're regular theme parks, not Disney, because Disney's made a market of their food, their experience, their immersion, everything.
1,000%.
Regular parks have to do that. They have to have entities like Panda Express inside their places. They have to have these little pop up hamburger places that isn't. It's not technically fair food, but their name brand, like a Habit Grill or something. You know, something that you'll find everywhere down the road. You know, and I've seen Knott's Berry Farm. They embraced it. They did Panda Express. That's why I brought Panda. They had a panda. I'm like, why are you bringing a panda into your theme park? Why you don't need to? Why do I want Panda? I can get Panda anywhere else.
Facts.
So there's that, guys. So I mean, tell us what you think. Josh, you got anything?
I mean, look, tonight we really dove pretty deep into just Disney IP, and we got into Universal a bit, but from like the classics to acquisitions, the parks. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney Plus, WWE, everything in between. I mean, whether I think you think Disney leans too hard on familiar stories, or you believe IP is like secret sauce that makes kind of, I don't know, the magic timeless. I mean,
Yeah.
I think one thing, the underlying message to me is that these worlds kind of connect us across our generations and our
Yeah.
families. So I don't know, man. I'm good. I feel like I
I feel
made.
great. But before we get out of here, I have to do my thing. You know how I am about this. I'm like really, I don't know. I'm neurotic. So guys, if you notice, we do have a logo now. I didn't say at the beginning of the show. Josh gave us a logo. We do have our Instagram. We'll push to 300, guys. At that push to 300, we might be there before this episode airs. But if it airs,
I think
uh,
so.
we may be. But if our push to 300, guys, we will have an interview. We're going to do it. We don't know what episode, but at 300, we made a promise. So at 300, we are going to start looking. If you have suggestions, put them in the comments. If you know of anybody that you want to throw out there, send them our way. It'll be our first interview. And you guys, we want you to make as much a part of it as we want you to be. And if you guys want to make suggestions, amazing. Again, Instagram, follow us. Shoot us both likes on our personals. You can find us on our Operation Magic pod. A lot of good stuff there. We post stories daily. We post a couple posts. We make fun of each other daily.
No.
Never.
No.
Veterans, again, this is a veteran base. We only do these topics because we want you to feel like, all right, they're being topical to us too. And it's just very topical because I know a bunch of people in the military who love Disney, but also a bunch of people who love wrestling, and they're probably blowing their top right now. What? Disney bought wrestling? Bah! And they can't do that. You just calm down, guys. Take a second, drink a couple beers, take a couple shots, drink some terrible bottled wine made from sangria, and you'll be okay.
I mean, because like none of that stuff's gonna
No.
really affect us.
No, it won't.
Truly. So, I mean, it's a business move. Disney's a huge business. They're going to do their thing. They're going to make their money. As long as they are keeping the parks original and fresh and keeping that same Disney magic alive, then I'm good to go.
I look at the acquisition. This is my last thing on it as like you said, a business move. It's no different than ABC when they bought ABC. It's no different than when they bought ESPN. No different than when they acquired any other services or brands that they've acquired. It's just what are they doing to the parks to make our experiences less or better, or as I say, plussed up in the Disney world. Are they plussing up our experience, good or bad? You be the judge of that. Like we said in the comments again, that's Josh. I'm James, and this has been Operation Magic, guys.
Thank you, and have a good night.
All right, squad, listen up. You already know who we are. We are the Operation Magic podcast. Disney loving, dad run, veteran built. Every week, we're here bringing you that magic straight to the veins. And now we've got something even bigger. It's official, guys. The Operation Magic merch. Those t-shirts, those hoodies, the mugs, stickers, you name it. All Disney inspired, all made for the Operation Magic squad. This isn't just gear. This is the uniform. You throw this on, you're not just a fan. You're a part of the family. Every piece supports this show, keeps the mission alive, and helps us keep bringing laughs, the stories, and the magic every single week. So what are you waiting for? Hit OperationMagic.Printful.me right now. Grab your gear and show the world who you are rolling with. Operation Magic. Rep the magic. Rep the squad.